Welcome back everyone to the channel. So today's video is a very important video. We're going to talk about the big elephant in the room, which is the Game Pass. The Game Pass which Microsoft is responsible for pushing for so many years, yet it is not accomplishing what they're wanting. And more importantly, we have some developers who are almost kind of saying it in front of your face that it's an unsustainable model and it is crazily damaging. That's right. So guys, Arcane Studios founder brands Game Pass unsustainable and damaging. This is crazy, right? In a post on social media, Rafael Colantonio suddenly asked why nobody is talking about the elephant in the room, presumably in the wake of the recent Microsoft layoffs that heavily impacted Xbox and many associate studios. The elephant in this case is the Game Pass, and when someone asked him for his perspective, Colantonio didn't hold back. I think Game Pass is an unsustainable model that has been increasingly damaging the industry for a decade, subsidized by Microsoft's infinite quote-unquote money. But at some point, reality has to hit. I don't think Game Pass can coexist with other models. They'll either kill everyone else or give up. An hour later, his analytical perspective was joined by Michael Dawes, Larian Studios publishing director. What happens when all that money runs out? That's the question. It's the most vocal concern in my network, and one of the main economic reasons people I know haven't shifted to its business model. The infinite money thing never made any sense. The pair touched on the cannibalization of sales, which is one of the core concerns of the Game Pass. If a developer or publisher launches a game exclusively for the Game Pass, nobody technically pays for their game, except for Microsoft paying to get it on the catalog. Dawes admitted that is a good thing for de-risking projects for smaller teams, but the bucks stopped there. He did then point out that Sony's lifecycle management way of working is much more preferable. Right. And this is the problem here, because we go to the chat here, and obviously the chat goes a bit further on, and we have here the following. I don't think Game Pass was made to be profitable, sustainable in the short to medium term. Microsoft is running a marathon. Game Pass was also instrumental to Microsoft's attempt at pushing streaming to the forefront of the market. I agree, but it's a long game that involves throwing a tsunami at the entire ecosystem of the industry. Only the gamers like it because the offer is too good to be true. But eventually, even gamers will hate it when they realize the effects on the games. That's the problem. So what is the main issue here? Well, let me just explain to you, because this is a huge issue, and this is linked to this one here, this other post here, which kind of explains the main issue. Reliable Insider Sneakers SO writes about the absurdity high churn rate, right, of Game Pass and Microsoft's plan to gradually wind down Xbox over the next decade. This was a leak from NeoGAF on this forum, basically, in which they discuss something really concerning. What is the churn rate, right? Is users who subscribe for a single month, consume the desirable product, right? And then they immediately unsubscribe. That's what I did, for example, with Doom Dark Ages. I didn't pay $70 for that game. I paid $10, I played the game for a month, I had enough of it because I played it a lot, and then I completely unsubscribed. I canceled my subscription, alright, because I had no reason to continue paying for it, because the other games on the Xbox Game Pass, for example, are games which I already paid, I already played. They're not interesting for me, to be honest. They're not games I want to pay every month $10, because if you think about it, I can spend those $10 every month to buy a game on Steam which is on discount, for example, because every month there's discounts, there's like sales and other stuff, right? Or just hold off for like 2 months. I have $20, I buy one game, and then on Steam for like, I know, $10-15, but then that game is mine forever. That's the difference, right? Whereas in the Game Pass, we have the following. Let's say you like to play Callisto Protocol or Mafia or Chia, whatever, right? These games will eventually disappear. And look at this, leaving soon, right? Every month there's games which are leaving the market. So although there's games coming to the market, which is, yeah, obviously it's happening every month, you have games which are disappearing. So you can have a game, you can play it for, let's say, I know, 6 months to a year, but then later on the game will disappear. So when you want to play it again, you have to buy it. So you spend like $10 every month. Let's say in a year you have $120, right? This is why what people are doing is that, let's say when Wuchang comes out, right? Many people are, what they're going to do, they're going to literally get the Game Pass. They're going to play the game, Wuchang Fallen Feathers. They're going to play the game, and after playing the game, they're going to basically unsubscribe from the model. So they're going to pay for 1 month or maximum 2 months if they really love the game, and then that's it. So literally the developers get nothing, and Microsoft gets $10 or $20. That is literally it, right? Which is the problem here, because that $10 for one single month does not pay for the cost of development for the game in the long term, unless the game is popular on Steam. However, with Doom Dark Ages, we had the opposite effect. Doom Dark Ages on Steam was very unsuccessful, because people literally bought 1 month in the Game Pass and then said, well, you know what, I'm going to leave because I don't want to pay for this any longer. And that's the problem we have, guys, right now. Game Pass as a business model, it does not work long term, because literally it's cannibalization of the games. You cannot have a system like this, because at the end of the day, this is only sustained because Microsoft has a lot of money to burn. Right now, Microsoft is still burning money. They're not making much profit from the Game Pass, if any whatsoever. They have to pay a huge amount of money to people to bring their games on their Game Pass, and then they expected that people will like join the Game Pass like Netflix and pay for like months and months and months. And even they said, like in their leaks, in the documents, they expected to be at 60 million Game Pass subscribers. We're nowhere anywhere near, which is the big issue. Game Pass subscribers at the moment are completely stagnated, right? And you can just not have a reliable system. That's the problem here. It's damaging for the industry, because you have literally companies, and they have AAAs like Microsoft. They spend millions in making a game, and then people just want to pay $10 to play the game for a month, and that's it, and move on. So literally just imagine like Doom Dark Ages, right? Like you pay for 1 month $10, the game actually costs $70. Nobody is paying for that game $70. Very few people. Only like if you're an idiot and you want to buy it on Steam because for whatever reason you hate Game Pass, but then what's the point? A single player game, you pay $10, you finish it, job done, end of the world. Sorry, end of story, right? That's it, like move on, right? It just does not make any sense to keep paying every month $10, $10, $10, unless you really want to play other games from the Game Pass library. But the problem is these Game Pass libraries, they're older games, which like I said before, you've pretty much played them already, you finished them already, you played them before, so it just does not make any sense. Plus, on Steam, there's sales every couple of months, and why would you spend $10 every month when you can spend those $10 to buy a game which is on discount, on sale, and then you have the game forever? That's the main issue, guys, here. And this is why I believe that on the surface of it, yes, it's a good idea, but then in reality, it just does not work. Because again, this is only working because of this. Microsoft's infinite money, they're throwing money at developers to bring their games to Game Pass, right? But when that stops, developers will not bring their games to Game Pass. That's the problem, because they will not want to bring their games to Game Pass if they don't have a guaranteed checkout payout, right? If Microsoft doesn't say to them, we'll pay you a couple of $1 million, okay, basically you bring your game to Game Pass, then great stuff, we will do it. But if you don't get that guaranteed payment, people, like companies, will not bring their game to Game Pass and hope for a future payout, because it just does not work. That's the problem, and this is going to kill the gaming industry little by little, because it just does not work, guys. It's just long term, like I said before, because the churn rate this has, and people just come and go, come and go, come and go. It's not a sustainable system. I'm very sorry. That's the problem. It's good for now because, of course, like I said before, I'm taking advantage of it. Like I literally paid $10 for like a whole month. I play the game, I unsubscribe, and job done. It's great, it's amazing, I'm saving so much money, but in the long term, this is destroying the gaming industry because developers are not making the money they need because you have the Game Pass, which is the main issue here. So I believe that this potentially is a strategy of Microsoft's to pretty much like, I know, spend out the other competition of the industry. Like they are literally spending so much money in the industry trying to push the other competitors outside because they can allow to burn so much money into their Game Pass. Like I believe that's the thing, right? Devs are not happy with the Game Pass. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, come on, let's just be honest, right? And I've seen something online as well, is that on the Game Pass, again, like look at this, right? Yeah, it's wealth transfer. That's the thing, right? Here is how it works and how it robs indies to enrich AAAs, right? Look at this. This is really important. This was published by Grooms, 9th of June, and this is a very, very, very important message. Just check this one out. Only the top 2 dozens or so daily played games ever get paid, and by hours played, the rest get 0. So only the top dozen, so only the top 2 dozen, I said top 20 games, right? Keep that in mind as you read. Game Pass pays a small upfront fee, nowhere near what the games would sell, to entice smaller indie developers to be on their app. The big catalog of games and low monthly fee entices gamers. In subscription services, he who has the most content flow wins. Raise the price of games to drive more gamers to the Game Pass. Release AAA titles you own every month to suck up all the revenue via playtime. Indies drop off and get nothing. The bulk of the money goes to Microsoft. Gamers play on Game Pass instead of buying indie games, further giving Microsoft more of the money. This is a huge Trojan horse for monopolizing the game market, and gamers don't see it. This is very bad for indie game developers and smaller developers, as they make less and less while Microsoft uses their content to drive people into their service. This isn't good for gamers either, as you trade lower cost for not owning your games and having them subject to being taken away from you if you violate an even increasingly totalitarian TOS agreement. If you are an indie dev, the smaller fee is very tempting, often a lifeline, but longer term it is going to kill the smaller game devs, which is the problem, right? So yeah, that's the problem, man. It's just crazy. I mean, let's just be honest. Like, I just don't understand. Like, people think that this is gonna be going on forever, which is not the case, right? Like, something's gonna give in the future. Like Microsoft, if they don't make any profit with the Game Pass, they will literally kill it eventually, because the way it's going, like, people are not stupid, right? So yeah, this model here is built on trying to completely take over the industry. So they own games, like same as Windows. Everyone uses Windows, right? 90% of the people, right? They want to literally do this, so everyone uses Game Pass. That's the only way to play games, because nobody can play games anywhere else. The problem is that gamers are not stupid, and gamers like to own their games, and because of that, the Game Pass is still stuck at 34 million subscribers every month, because lots of gamers do not like the fact that you can have your game taken away from you like that instantly. And that is something that people hate, because people like to own things, like to have things, and like to control their games. So guys, that's it for today's video on this one. It's quite crazy, but to be honest, it's what I expected. Yes, the Game Pass model is unsustainable and is very damaging to the industry. This is true. This is crazy. And honestly, we'll see what happens, but Microsoft's plan to basically take over the industry with the Game Pass could backfire in their face, because the infinite money they're spending on this is not enough, and people are not changing ship. People are not moving across, because people like to own their games, and they just get on the platform for like 1 month and then they disappear, and then they come back for a month and then they're gone again. right? Which is the main issue. And Microsoft wants repeat consumers, which they're not gonna get because gamers are not stupid. That's the thing which is different from Netflix, which is completely different because in Netflix, it's a completely different thing. In Netflix, you have the subscription, you have your shows, and people just keep watching the shows, the same shows again, other stuff, which is a completely different thing. Like it's more passive, but games, people like to play new games, like to own their games, like to play them now and then and later. And it's just a completely different thing. Like it's a very different thing. Although they thought it was going to work, honestly, I believe in the future, Microsoft will potentially kill the Game Pass because it is not attracting 50, 60, 70 million people as they initially projected a couple of years ago. So guys, that's for today's video. As always, I shall see you later in the next one.